Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey designers, welcome back for episode 51 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek. And today I wanted to talk about basically taking like more of a templated or automated version of our process and where and when we can use AI tools to basically enhance our existing workflow. Now, what I'm going to say today is things that you can implement immediately and honestly have been able to do for 2 years with a lot of these things at this point. Of course, they've gotten so much better in the process, but these are all things that you could be and should be adapting to your existing design process, just utilizing a little bit more AI as you go. So I say like these are things that you can do today for a reason, because very soon we are going to see new things with AI start to roll out that will blow your mind in ways that you didn't even think were possible. We are literally like, they are built, like they're there. They're just being trained so that they listen better, and are really operational. But these are all things that are coming that are literally about to change things that people don't even know about. And it's so crazy to think about that, because my husband and I have conversations about AI a lot, when we talk about these things, like the things that I know that are on the horizon and the things that he knows as like, just having conversations with me and the way that he uses AI in his business currently, like we're obviously kind of ahead of the game, like I do this, like I look into programs like every single day, like what are the new updates, what's going on. Like if I'm gone for 6 weeks traveling, I come back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know nothing. And if I feel like that, I can't imagine how people are feeling that haven't even started utilizing AI technology or like start to see it pop up and they're like, oh, I don't know about that, right? So what you're seeing now is like baby AI, okay? What we're about to get into, like just with the next step of agentic AI, which I've done episodes on, and then beyond that, like we're there. Like these things exist. It's just they haven't been mainstream released yet to the masses, but basically tools that take that middle part that you have to oversee out. That's what's coming. So like the back and forth between programs and the searching and you feeding information, a lot of that is now gone, where it's basically eliminating a lot of entry level jobs with a lot of the tools and tech that has already started releasing, but will be releasing at a larger scale. And you're going to start to really see come to the forefront of a lot of businesses because it's more readily accessible. But that's what we're getting into. Okay. So to like take a few steps back and maybe take a little bit of the scary out of it, just so that you can start to adapt some of these tools to your existing process and stop spinning your wheels as much. That is what designers that I talk to in firms and companies and, just the vast majority of people that I speak to on a daily basis in my AI advisory sessions, that's what they're looking for. And that's what I want to find for you. Before we get to this agentic phase of this evolution of this technology, before we like start taking out a lot of these pieces, we have to crawl before we can walk, right? And that's kind of where we're at right now with what's accessible and available and adaptable to your current workflows. Okay. So let's talk about what that means and what that could potentially save you time doing in your business. So number one, right off the bat, like if you're not using a note taker, oh my goodness, you should be. I still am, doing presentations weekly where people don't know that note takers exist. Hopefully, if this is not your first episode listening to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, you've heard me talk about it a few times. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, where I also publish these episodes, then you'll see my plot in my hand right now. So Plod is a great tool. It also comes as like a little pin, but this is like number one. If you want to get into AI space, record your messages and record your meetings. Of course, we're always just disclosing that we're doing that for quality assurances, right? I mean, like every other business is also doing this. Okay. So it's not weird by any means. We just always want to make sure we're on the up and up and we're disclosing this is being recorded because I don't want to miss a thing while we're here. It only benefits both of us for this partnership, right? So I'm holding Plod. Plod also comes as a pin device that you can wear. But basically, this is something that I've had now for almost 2 years. And it's a real world recording device. And I say real world versus like when I use Loom now or Fathom previously, which is also still a great tool. I just use Loom to shoot my videos, and it also has a meeting note taker. So it actually joins my Zoom meetings and will send me the recording in Loom where I am recording all of my, daily videos and stuff. So basically, like, it's giving me recaps there, it's giving me summaries there, and it's joining all of my scheduled online meetings. But what Plod is doing is Plod can be there in the middle of the room, like in my hand, and I'm going through a walkthrough and I'm just talking, and it's just recording what I'm saying. It also can listen to phone calls when you turn it on. Like, you have to turn it on. Okay, so if that's a concern of yours, it's not always listening, though I do always forget to turn it off. Like, that is just a problem of mine. And I'll go back to my recordings and be like, oh my gosh, this was 5 hours, which apparently is the cap for the recording time, because I always forget to turn off the buttons. Anyway, what this does is it can either attach to your phone and listen to the two-way conversation when you turn it on, and also go to the Plod app and say record, So it will record the phone call conversation. It clicks into like a little sleeve on the back of your phone, or you can just talk to it like I'm doing right now, holding it in my hand, okay? It will pick up on different people, different voices, and kind of say like speaker one, speaker two. So that's an option for recording your meetings, walkthroughs, whatever. If you are a hand note taker, did you know that you could also like take all your notes as you normally do? For me, I use these note takers, but if it's really important and I want it to stick, then I write it down, and then generally I'm good. Like, I don't need to look at it again, but I have it if I ever needed to. But for those like important things, I'm writing down. So if you are just, a hand note taker, that's your thing, and you don't want to give that up, all good. What you can do is actually take a picture of your notes, upload the picture. Your gallery might even do this on your phone. I know mine does for Samsung, but if it doesn't, you can bring it into ChatGPT or any of your other favorite large language models, and you can say, extract the text from my notes so that they're in type form, like not Typeform, which is a whole other awesome program that I will talk about in a second, but it's in typed up format versus the picture format. So it'll take all the words that you wrote on your paper and decipher what it says, as long as you don't have serial killer handwriting like myself, and it can put that into written form that you can then put into a document or to-do list or repurpose just by having a conversation into action items. Number one, if you're going to like start using AI like immediately, while this isn't, I guess, technically AI because it's literally just note taking and transcripts, this is where you should start, because the next step of the process is to take the words that came out of your mouth or your client's mouth or whoever you met with and literally put that transcript conversation into a large language model like ChatGPT or whatever your favorite's going to be. And then you can say, okay, I need to create a proposal, or I need to create action items for each person that was mentioned on this call. I mean, you could take it a step further for those of you that are more advanced here listening, and you could say, okay, so if Sally has these tasks, and if Joe has these tasks, and if Jenna has these tasks, put deadlines, like calendar dates right here. Give me task lists, give me subtask lists. And then I want you to put it into a CSV or a spreadsheet format that I can use to add to my calendar. And then literally, if you get a CSV, which is comma separated V, what's the V? I don't know. vectors. I don't know. CSV. So basically it takes all the stuff and it like, if you were to take a spreadsheet, it would literally take all the columns out of it and then just do everything comma spaced. And that is like the easiest format for you to use other places. Okay. So basically you can say, okay, thank you for giving me this to-do list with everybody's tasks and when they're due. Now create a CSV file that I can upload into my calendar and make these to-dos with deadlines. And then all you have to do is get on your computer and go to your calendar and say import the CSV, and it can add all of those things to your calendar and assign to all those people as long as you have the format correct, which ChatGPT can do for you. Okay? So words first, AI models next to repurpose, organize thoughts, create task lists, or proposals. So, like, let's say you're starting from the get go and it's the initial call. And then for me, I use Typeform, like I kind of mentioned in a different way, but I use Typeform and I always have since I started practicing virtually in 2016. So, I create an onboarding questionnaire for my client as well. And then that is basically creating a CSV of the way that that client answered. So what I will do is I will take the transcript from the initial onboarding conversation, the spreadsheet that I get from their results telling me what they like about the design, what their goals are. I put a lot in there. We should definitely talk about that later, but I put a lot in there and then it's visual. So there's no questions as to like, what is that finish or what is this finish? If you just verbally say it, they can see it and we can communicate visually that way. I take those two things and then I have created a custom GPT in my ChatGPT account that is basically trained on previous proposals that I've created. So like the format that I like it done in, pricing guides, that type of thing for the scope. And I say, here's the transcript. Here's what they said in the questionnaire. Now write out the proposal for me. So it'll write out the proposal. I'll make whatever edits I need to. And then if you have Canva set up to have a proposal template already ready, which hopefully you do because you do this frequently, right? And then once you have that branded, ready to go, you just pop the information from that call reformatted into proposal format into Canva. And then if you want to go a step further, you can create imagery using words that were literally extracted from the conversation, or if you've done it right, emotional words or materials in the questionnaire. And then you can say in Visual Electric or Midjourney or ChatGPT, use these words to create imagery as inspiration. And basically you can create inspo imagery that you can then pop into that template in Canva that generates and shows like, I get it. I understand what your goals are, how you want this space to feel. Here's some inspirational imagery. I know a lot of designers for a very long time have always looked at Pinterest or Instagram or something for those types of images. And then you use another designer's work in those proposals, which has never really been my thing. I did it like once or twice and I still cited whose work it was in those proposals because it just didn't feel right to me. But you need to visually communicate sometimes. And that previously was the only way of doing that. So now you control everything that goes into those, from images to the format to all of that. And it's so much faster and easier because for me, I don't like writing those things. I like making templates. I love making the templates. That's fun. But writing the proposals, oh my gosh, no, I don't like that. It's just not one of my favorite things to do. So now if I can literally just say the things and then have it repurposed in a way that I like it and formatted, then it's smooth. Now, with everything I just said, right? So like this step and then this step and then this step, it's actually very easy. This is already simplifying what has already taken us forever to do previously, right? So like this alone is such a time saver. Hours we can shave off from this part of the process or other processes that you can adapt this format to. But what's coming will literally be like, okay, here's the conversation, here's the information, make me that proposal. Done, right? So like images, PDFs, actual formats, based off the conversation, done. Just a matter of a few minutes, okay? That is the difference between the manual, here's what I want, here's how I have to program, let's move it over to this, here's my template that I created here. Once you have templates and information set up that you can train these models in the future, you then take out that middleman part of all of this, which is download from ChatGPT, upload to this, revise over here, create the images over here, put them into Canva, download that Canva file, send it off an email. If you just say, here's my conversation, and then you've already pre-programmed everything else to know how you like things done, here's my conversation, send the email with all this information. I will look over it first, but like prepare the email with the PDF, with the proposal, with the inspiration board based off of everything I just sent you. It will do all of that. That's what's next, okay? That's what's already here, but is not available to the masses in the scale that is workable and usable quite yet, okay? But like I said, we are in our infancy with these technologies right now. What is about to come, like even just what I described with taking out that middleman, we're scratching the surface of what this technology is really going to do. Okay. So think about ways you can adapt now. Like these things are things that you can do now. So if you are not recording things, you're working 10 times harder than somebody that is. You're wasting your time. There's so much time that you are wasting by not recording conversations or by handwriting transcripts when you should be listening to the client if you're in a walkthrough or looking at mannerisms and seeing subliminal things that maybe you don't see when you are writing stuff constantly during your meetings. Okay. Now it opens it up for you to only take down those really important notes if you still want to, but be present with the person that you're speaking to and know that my note takers got this. Like I now have everything I need to repurpose and move to the next task with my team and delegate different things. Okay. So just think about it truly is amazing to me when I hear people that aren't using note takers. Like that is not even an AI thing. Like the next step is yes, but like transcriptions and all of that's been here for a long time. Like none of this is new. Like Zoom's been doing this forever, which also kind of leads me to this whole, like, if you're a designer and you remember when like green started coming out, and I was in college for when this really was a big boom in the industry, but like green products, sustainability, and the greenwashing, if you've ever heard that term before, the greenwashing of basically like being like, oh, well, this is green because it has these little attributes to it, so it qualifies for that, right? But sometimes they were lies. Sometimes they were just so minimal. And like when the whole green movement came onto the scene, they were like, well, let's capitalize on that because that's a buzzword now for sustainability. That's kind of what we're seeing with AI as well. So a lot of people will, want to connect me with somebody that is in the technology space and is maybe working on an app or something, and they're like, oh yeah, they're into AI. And then we start talking, we're like, it's not really like AI. They might have components that are AI to simplify parts of their app, but really it's just like the technology that they were using before, but now put a stamp on it saying AI, right? Because it's a buzzword. Just kind of be careful. Like this is a little tangent, but be careful of like what's legitimate when it comes to AI and what is literally just a program that was already out there before, but because AI is so big on the scene, they're calling it AI now. Or a lot of your programs that you use on a daily basis, like they really are using AI technology and infusing components inside of their existing apps that help you do operations inside of their app faster and more effective because they can integrate like little pieces that streamline that. Okay. So just be aware that like if you see AI or if you see these claims with these ads on social media being like, oh, well, it can do all this. Not really. Okay. So like just be careful that you don't get first of all, stuck in a annual membership for any of these things. That's kind of my number one, where like I will tell people, just don't sign up for the annuals unless if it's something that's been around for a while, or if it's like ChatGPT where other programs utilize the technology as an API. So like they build their programs using the model, then yeah, if you're going to spend an annual, if you want to buy annually, then those types of tools, yes. But for a lot of these smaller companies that are popping up that are utilizing ChatGPT or Stable Diffusion and stuff like that, with these updates that are coming out directly from the large language models like ChatGPT, they run the risk of being eliminated with the next update. We kind of saw that happen with the really big visual update that ChatGPT came out with at the end of March, because when DALL-E got the huge glow up that it did, the image generator, a lot of these Stable Diffusion based programs that really didn't have a lot of extra components to them, that were really just like, hey, here's your image, now let's like make it look better. Like ChatGPT can now do that. So they were basically wiped out as a startup because the parent company that they were using for that tech is now releasing it to everybody for $20. So I wouldn't pay annually for any of these programs that don't come with something that is unique and that won't be wiped out or potentially wiped out by one of these larger companies, because they now do that too. It's $20. So why pay $60 to do it over here with this other program that does nothing else? So if you're looking for AI tools, look for something that, first of all, your large language model can't do already, and that brings something unique to the table. And that's why when you're in your everyday programs, programs for project management or programs for rendering or what have you, look for AI integrations into those existing programs, because those are the tools that are going to stick around. Like if your rendering program like has been tried and true, but then they start to add AI components to just simplify little pieces of that and make it easier, those are the tools that I would stick with. And that's going to be different for everybody here. SketchUp, CAD, I use Visualizer through my Doma, but like whatever that means for you, look for those tools that are already inside, because they're there to help streamline your existing workflow in that software to cut out a lot of the monotonous. All right. So what I was talking about right before this with the onboarding, the proposals, using the transcripts, like that, those transcripts can be repurposed and reused. And very soon, those pieces inside of your existing go-to programs, we've already started seeing them. They're starting to utilize those transcripts to repurpose internally without you having to go from one program to the next program to the next program. We're trying to simplify and bring kind of everything together with that process into one cohesive workflow with what you already have. Okay. So I don't know exactly what the moral of this story is today, because everything that I said that you should do right now, if you haven't already been doing, that's going to change in the next year, because it's going to get simpler. It's going to get easier. It's going to eliminate a lot of entry-level jobs. It is like, it just is, but it's also going to change the way that we operate in our businesses from start to finish. It's going to take out so much of this busy work that you and I both know we do. Like as a designer, think about the amount of time that you just mess around with renderings. I can't even tell you the amount of hours of my life I have spent moving freaking cups from a floor 2 inches to the right and up 4 feet. Like, it's insane the amount of tedious, stupid shit we have had to do as designers that nobody knows about, but you can't bill for all the time, but sometimes you have to bill for and put it in there. And people are like, why did you have to do that? And it's like, oh, because the software is like this. And it just is what it is. But pretty soon, AI is taking out all those stupid, silly little tasks that we've been wasting our times doing that just make us so mad all the time. You know what I'm talking about. We all know. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, why can't I just design? Oh, because I didn't have an image that was proper that I then had to bring into Photoshop and manipulate for the last half hour so that I could put it on my design board so that it makes sense for my designers to see visually. Now we can be like, hey, take this picture, turn it 90 degrees so I can see the side of it, so I can drop it into my design plan so that my client can either shoot down this design or say, hey, let's run with this. And then I can move to the accurate measurements and the actual like renderings and to scale drawings, which currently cannot really be done in any of these programs. And if somebody tells you that they can, they're lying, because they're not accurate. And I do see this one guy saying that on Instagram with like, he's not a designer. I saw him literally lift somebody's design and floor plan and then use it as his example. And the person commented and was like, hey, whose plan is this? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And she was like, oh, this is mine. And I was like, oh my God, that's why like you don't learn from people that are not in the industry, because he thought, first of all, that was okay. And then secondly, is telling people that like you can take floor plans and you can do these accurate things when like never in a million years would I take a floor plan and try and get it as accurate as I can on ChatGPT and be like, here you go build this now. No, that is not what we're doing here. We're still using professional software to do drawings, to do scaled, accurate plans that we can build in the real world. There is a massive disconnect between what you can actually create, no matter how many words you prompt and how many plans you put in there. It is not, if you were to literally overlap the images on a scale drawing with an elevation that you get from one of these programs, they do not line up. Okay, try it. Try it if you don't believe me. They don't line up because there's so much that is changed in the process of doing that it is not accurate now. It's not accurate now. Okay. Talk to me in a month. Talk to me in 3 months. I don't know how fast it's coming, but it is coming. It's just not there like now, like people say that it is. Okay. Like I do this every day. I've never once gotten an accurate drawing from my work, not somebody else's, that I have overlapped and said, yep, that's exactly to scale. That's exactly the products. That's all of it. It's close, but it is not what we need to use to build something in the real world at this point in time. Okay. But give it a little bit of time and it will be. So whatever that means for you in this industry, man, you know that I'm here watching out for us. Like this is what I do. This is what I want to see designers succeed more than anything. And I'm looking for these things with cautious optimism, I guess, because while we do need little pieces to help us to cut out those silly, stupid little things that we have to do every day, but are literally eating our time, like, and then what could take care of those things could also eliminate us. So it's this fine line that we're walking right now. And I say eliminate us, but like we all know that there's that human connection and we can't be eliminated and all that stuff. Like, yes, we always want and crave the human connection, and we live in this real world. We know how designs are supposed to be, but then there's also going to be this growing demographic of people that are like, oh, well, if this is accurate, why would I just do that? Like, why wouldn't I just go online and do that? Be careful what you ask for. Like, I say this almost every single episode, but like, don't ask for something that is now available to everybody for $20 a month that eliminates your job. Ask for things that make your job easier so you can get back to the things that make you in your design process and that you love doing in your profession, not things that will take you out of your profession and make it so you don't have one. Okay. So either way, we're going to have some problems with some of these updates, but I want you to look at it in a way now and start adapting these tools that are out there now and say, okay, here's my workflow. How can I simplify? And then the AI agents can basically start to like take out the monotonous and start to do these little things. But there's still going to be these components that will always make sure that we have a job. And that is humanizing and telling the story. And that is literally the difference between what AI is soon going to be able to do for the interior design industry and you having a job or not, is how you can humanize it and make sure that you're connecting with people in a way that makes them value what you bring to the table. We will eliminate an entire demographic of people that will think and will probably be able to go on and do this themselves in these AI models. It's just like reverse image searching has been for years, right? Like if you have a design board, reverse image search it, find all those products. But we all know as professionals that those products are like Walmart tier, right? Like those are not the cool things that the designers have access to or custom that we have access to. We also know that a lot of AI models, or if you don't, a lot of AI models are trained right on like our stuff. So they're not necessarily trendsetters. They're looking at what's already out there and using that to compile, whatever imagery or inspiration that it's coming up with. So if we don't, and there's no way to not tell it, but if we don't, continue to innovate and set the trends and show people really how having proper design and functionality in their home can literally change their life. And I know that sounds dramatic, but if you're a designer, you know what I'm talking about. But it can literally change everything about what they do. There are components that just AI will never do that because we haven't told it. Like we do that, and then it learns from us. They are trained models. And unfortunately, our content is what's training them. That's a whole thing for another day, but it is what it is at this point. There's really not any going back unless if it's, don't tell them what's next, which we still can't do anyway. It's going to know. Like they just crawl the internet. So it's going to know. But anyway, it's interesting because as much as I love AI, I don't want to say fear it. I definitely don't fear it, but I know what the possibilities are for how it's going to be detrimental to not only our industry, but all industries very, very soon. It also is exciting for me because with shifts like this, there's always innovation that comes out of it that we couldn't even have predicted. I can't even predict right now where we're going to be, in a year, unless if we watch sci-fi movies, right? Like not a year, 10 years, but hopefully not a year. But like, that's kind of the fun and the beauty of it all is like, yeah, we're here right now. We're doing these stupid monotonous tasks, half of which we don't need to be doing. Very soon, all of those tasks will be eliminated, but then so won't some of our jobs. But then the designers that can really design, man, they're going to soar. They're going to be at the top. The ones that were kind of struggling before, I don't know how that's going to go. I don't want to set any predictions, but now is the time to really dig into that personal human touch before all of this happens and really establish yourself because things are about to get wild. Absolutely wild. Oh my gosh. Anyway, get a note taker. Get a note taker. That's my moral of today's story. All right, guys. I do have a ton of guests lined up. It was the last day of school, or the last week of school this week and last week. So of course, everything ended and I didn't get an episode out last week, but I've got a lot of people lined up for the summer to interview and get some great conversations going. In the meantime, I have the daily. If you guys want to check it out, it is $29.99 a month now. You can search from over 120 videos are in there. I am about to add even more today. And then I have all of the daily workshops. Last month was the May ChatGPT one. You can still purchase it. It's very much relevant. It's available on the website. I will also link it, but I have all of the upcoming workshops slated, planned, and we are getting them up on the website now. So hopefully by next week, they will be there and ready for you to kind of pick and choose what you want to learn through the end of the year. So they're all going to be up and ready to go. All right. So thanks for listening today, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.